Your 20s are not only a fun and exciting time in your life, but it can also be a time of confusion and feeling lost. It's hard to decide what you want to do, where you want to be, how are you going to get there, will I even get there? These are all questions I've had and maybe still have, and I'm sure you do too. But since actually starting my life over last year, I wanted to share a few lessons I've learned so far, and hopefully that can help you as well. Lesson 1. Stop waiting for change to happen and make it happen. I think this was one of the biggest lessons that I learned, especially since literally moving my entire life overseas. I need to take the first step in changing my life, and I spent many years dwelling on my life and just being sad and depressed and anxious about the future and just wanting something different for my life but never really going for it. And I think that that's all it takes, is the one step. Change does not happen by itself, and you have to really be proactive and go out there and just take that first step and have the courage to do what you always wanted to do. I think that the biggest reason, not only for myself but for a lot of people, is we fear the unknown. There's a lot of fear and anxiety with the unknown of making a decision, especially in your 20s. Like, all the decisions you make now will definitely help set you up for your future. So all the decisions you make, you want to be sure that you're making the right one, or that it doesn't have too much of a lasting impact. So it can be scary. But I think that fear and anxiety don't always have to be a negative thing, and I think that it's normal, but you just have to go out there and do it, really. We took a huge leap of faith by selling everything and changing our entire life and bringing it all overseas with us without knowing whether or not we would like it here, if it would work out, and so far it has. But all it took was that simple leap of faith, and to really sit down and look at my life and say, do I want to continue to live like this, or do I really want to be living the life that I could be living instead? Lesson 2. Learn to embrace the present and stop focusing on the past, aka release control. So this is something I'm definitely still working on. I think this is definitely one of the hardest things for me, is learning to release control of my life. I am definitely a chronic overthinker. I have a hard time not over planning my life, and I have a hard time with change, I will say, which is why doing this has definitely taught me that change is okay, and it's okay to take risks, and also that it's okay to not know what is going to happen in your life, because that's just the way that life is. And I'm definitely learning to come to terms with that a lot, and try and release a little bit more control and stop being such an over planner, because the thing is, life is insane, and you don't know where you're gonna be. Like, I never thought that I would literally be all the way over here in Northern Ireland, but I am. So that just shows you don't know where life is gonna take you, and everything happens so fast. So you want to learn to be present, and I have definitely spent a lot of my life, like 11 plus years of my life, with depression, with anxiety, and a lot of that stems from the fact that like I was forced to move basically really young in my life to Canada, and I had a lot of negative experience that happened to me in like my first couple of years being in Canada, and I think that just that whole chaos of my life changing suddenly and obviously not being in control of that really affected me and made me really scared of doing new things, trying new things, and just feeling negative about the whole situation. But I am learning to take back that control in a way and kind of release it and really being more present, especially like being here. It feels like a fresh start. It really feels like I'm starting from scratch. I just want to be present for that. You know, I want to make the most of my time, and I don't want to spend too much time like looking back and regretting things and spending too much time focusing on the negative when I could be enjoying what I have now and the experiences that I am making for myself. I think that's the biggest part about starting over your life is you really have to learn to let go of the things you had planned in your mind. And sometimes the expectations you have aren't always the ones that are best for you, and that's just how life is, and those are things that aren't in our control, and we have to learn to be okay with the things that we don't have control over. And that's something that I'm still dealing with, and I'm still learning, and I think I've gotten a lot better with it, but it's definitely like the biggest thing that like has come to the forefront with this move for me. We were definitely living a very traditional pathway before. Like I had a career, my boyfriend had a career, we were making good money, and you know, we had a home and we had pets and everything, and like our life was going in the traditional sense, you know, of building a life together and settling and all that kind of stuff. And then we decided to literally just do a 360 and change it all, and my life feels so much better now. Like I feel so much better now. I'm definitely much happier, and just goes to show you that you can't always hold on to those things, and you can't always plan. You can't always plan, and there are things that you can like plan, you know, like have goals for yourself and dreams for yourself, and that's fine. But you also have to learn to be okay when those plans don't come to fruition. Lesson 3. True growth is uncomfortable but necessary. I think moving abroad is the fastest way to put yourself in a situation that's very uncomfortable and where you are forced to grow and you're forced to do things that you don't want to do but you have to do because there's no other way to do it. I definitely learned how to be uncomfortable a lot, and when you move to a new place, you often feel like a stranger because you're not from here. You're in a totally different place. You don't know the city, you don't know the streets. You have to apply for a new job, which was very scary for me, honestly, because I had been doing the same job for the last 7 years, and that was something that I was very comfortable in. So to have to go out and do new things, and it was scary for me. Learning to just navigate a new way of life is scary, and I am blessed that I am not doing this journey alone. Like I am here with my partner, so that really does make it a lot easier because I'm not alone in this. I think that it's a very necessary thing. You know, I think that being uncomfortable, as much as a lot of us don't want to do that, and I was definitely one of those people who would never do something this spontaneous because it is uncomfortable, because it is unknown, because it is extremely stressful. Like, our moving process was very, very stressful, but I knew in my heart that it was necessary because it's what I wanted to do. And even though I've been in a lot of situations that are overwhelming, are uncomfortable, I know that it's just making me like a better person in the long run, and it's teaching me a lot and helping me to mature as well, by being independent and doing the things that I need to do in order to build my life here and in order to progress. Yeah, it's a necessary part of growing up, I think, is feeling discomfort and feeling uncomfortable, and that's the only way you're gonna get there is by feeling that. There's no way to avoid it, and I think that when you're always comfortable, when you're always staying in your bubble, you don't open yourself up to new things. Lesson 4. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. Now, this was definitely a difficult lesson for me. Without going into it too much, I definitely grew up in a household where I'm sure a lot of Asian people could understand this. If you come from a very traditional or strict household, you're kind of taught that being selfish is not something you can do, and kind of being yourself is also not a thing, just in general. And so like making a huge decision like this to, you know, start over my life and to move my life far away from everything that I know and everyone that I know is obviously a huge selfish decision. And I don't think that being selfish is inherently a bad thing. I think that there are situations where you should be selfish, and you can't continue to live your life for someone else or based off of the opinions of other people. When we announced to everybody that we were moving, we definitely got a lot of mixed reviews, I will say, mixed opinions from a lot of people. A lot of people were extremely supportive, and there were also people in our life who were not supportive, or some people who had opinions that I could tell they didn't want to say, and that's okay. Like, to each their own, and that's totally fine. But I just learned that you can't let those things stop you from being where you want to be and the person you want to be. I definitely spent a lot of my life caring too much about the opinions of certain people and how I live my life, like not just the decisions I make, but small things like how I dress, how I look, the friends that I have, that sort of thing. Like, there are people in my life who really care about those things. I couldn't let those things stop me from being myself, and that is something that I still grapple with. Like, thank God for my therapist, but it's definitely something that I still have a hard time with. But after making this decision to move, it's definitely freed me a lot from that, and it's helped me to deal with the guilt, I guess, in a way. But I think that the people in your life who truly love and support you they will want this for you, and they won't be hurt about your decision. They won't shame you for your decision. They won't judge you for your decision. They want what's best for you, and you want what's best for them, and they're not going to shame you for being quote unquote selfish. So I think it's important to also think about yourself in the process, and to really look at yourself and say, like, what do I want for myself, and how do I get there, and what am I going to do to get there. And yes, I will talk about my decisions with people, but I'm not asking for approval. And I think that that's the biggest thing for me. And I'm sure lots of other people maybe feel that way as well. So even though I have learned all these lessons so far in my life, to be honest, I am still learning. I am still growing. Literally every single day, every month, I am learning something new, and I am forever changing. I mean, I am only in my mid-20s. I still have a lot more to learn, and I'm sure if I did this video in another year or so, I will have more lessons and I will definitely be a different person. I just wanted to share so far what this experience has taught me and maybe help you guys a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
You guys didn't notice, but I had this little loaf sitting on my lap the entire time I filmed this video. She's so cute. She's so cute. Hi, Mooch. Are you so pretty? Beautiful girl.